What's good, y'all?
Good. Finally here. Draft week. Let's go.
Things about the draft, honestly, you get to, watch in real time. And I've said this before, families getting an opportunity to kind of live out their dreams. Because it's not just, obviously it's the kids that are living out their dreams, but, for everything, families that have whatever they've gone through, however they've gotten to that point, it's just a great sight to see, as well as, obviously your teams getting the players that you have been looking at and watching highlights about over the past few months, stressing about overthinking, saying they're good, saying they're not, even though we have no idea. Um, but yeah, what you guys looking forward to?
Fan reactions. Pretty much. That's always the best part of especially coming out of round one. Good or bad. It's always you get the whole meal there. Of course, I had some reactions last year to our pick. Of course, the Falcons had the surprise of the draft last year, which kept me engaged pretty much throughout that whole weekend. So it made it fun for me reading everybody's articles, watching everybody's videos about how crazy that is to pick. I wonder who's going to be the surprise of the first round this year, if there is one. It seems like these quarterbacks are being really overvalued, so we'll see on that. But yeah, just reactions overall from the fan bases.
I mean, to piggyback off what you just said, Kaz, I mean, you have to say what I'm looking forward to is like, what is the surprise of the draft? Like, a lot of times your picks ain't gonna obviously be what you think it is. It could shake up here and there, but you got a general aspect of what they might pick or whatever. But just being able to see, oh my God, that's who they went and got. That's something I'm looking forward to see who shakes some shit up.
And it fits with teams too, because that's also a big part of it, where where everybody lands, like you said. So uh, you there could be some surprises, surprise quarterbacks, people being drafted where you weren't expecting. So we're in for a show on Thursday.
Yes,
Obviously,
sir.
starting on Thursday, but going throughout the weekend. But before we get more into the draft, we gotta also kick off with the NBA playoffs. Obviously, last time we were here, we were into the play-in. Now we got officially it's the weekend of the NBA playoffs, and it was a great weekend, honestly. I think I saw that it was the most watched
Opening
weekend
weekend.
NBA play weekend over the past 25 years. So um, for all the talk that's been about the NBA ratings, that seemed to kind of go away over the past few months. But what was you guys' biggest takeaways from the weekend? And obviously the extended week now that we're into the new.
Um, Good start off. I mean, a lot of the games might have went, the way we thought it went, but you had a few little upsets, but I don't think nothing is really like that much of an issue for the ones that did lose in an upset, like the Lakers. I don't think them losing game one is much of a problem. It's more so what they're gonna do tonight. Same thing with Houston. Golden State is obviously a veteran team, so they, I mean, they stole game one. I mean, but I that doesn't make me feel like, oh my God, Houston is in a world of trouble or whatnot. But probably the most interesting one might be the Knicks and Detroit series. This series could easily be 2-0 Detroit. Um, the first game, and maybe that's come with, of course, Shy gonna say something about, the coach, but I mean, I also think that might come with a little bit of inexperience from Detroit in general. But they could have very much had that first game, and honestly, the second game was looking the same way. Like they were dominating for most parts of the game until the New York came back. But last night they took the dub, so now it's tied 1-1. But that's gonna be interesting series because it really should be 2-0 Detroit.
Yeah, I think that's the series where I think I kind of mentioned it. Like I would not be surprised if the Knicks, just mess around and lose that. That's kind of the team you've seen all year. Like they haven't been good against good competition. I'm not saying Detroit is that, but at the same time, you're in a different state of mind when you're in the playoffs in this environment. Now you lost home court advantage. You're heading to Detroit. You don't know how they're going to play. You don't know how the Knicks are going to play. If they're going to get tight. I think that's a great series to keep up with. Like you said, Chris, it's still early, so it's tough to say anybody's out of this. Like, even with like Boston, Tatum's injury, we just saw that today. He's out for game 2. Who knows what the Magic will do tonight or whenever they play? Yeah, tomorrow night. And then Cleveland had a big win over Miami, but it was close. A good part of that game was close until they broke it away, and then Todd Jerome just came too much for him. But I maybe the Grizzlies. I'll say that's the series that, when you get beat by 50 in game 1, that's tough to come back from. And I know Ja came out in his in-game post-game press conference saying, if we win win game 2, then game 1 not gonna matter. But boy, they didn't seem like they could be in the same gym with that team. It was pretty ugly. So I think that might be the only series that ends early in this one.
See, because it is obviously they did get beat by 50. So,
shit, 50 is crazy.
50 is crazy. The game was crazy, but the game kind of got out of hand pretty early. Yeah. And OKC's crowd. People seem to I don't want to say seem to forget, but may forget. That was kind of viewed as the best crowd for a long while. Kind of battling between them and the Warriors. So
yeah.
And that crowd was rocking. That was probably one of the loudest crowds, probably the loudest crowd of the weekend, and it was loud throughout, even up 50. So, I think the Grizzlies will kind of get back right, and we'll see. I don't know if they'll tie it up, but I definitely don't think it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get any more blowouts, but. With that being said, he did get beat by 50.
50 is crazy.
Yeah, he get beat by 25.
but speaking of crowds, it is going to be interesting to see how Detroit comes out, given that they haven't had a home playoff game in a long time. So that is going to be a sight to see, hopefully. And then the Pacers and the Bucks, creating kind of a little bit of a rivalry. Obviously, that kind of started back when. Giannis thought he was about to boss a bunch of grown men around and tell them what they was going to do. But it's got, obviously they played the playoffs last year. They had some injuries, so it didn't go, exactly how we thought it was going to go, or at least as close as it could have been. The other day, it was really Giannis and, Kuz is
cardio.
I think he'll get right in the series. I don't know about tonight, but we'll see.
Dame time back though, so we'll see how that goes.
They're currently getting smoked, but I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it is. That's why I said I don't know what it's going to be looking like, but it is. It is what it is. We'll see if they can get right. Obviously, it's Dame's first game back and he started, so him starting, that might throw some things off, and he still has to get back into shape and stuff like that. But aside from that, obviously the Lakers took an L, a big L, obviously that ended up a big L, but they did kind of close the gap a little bit there, but never could completely close the gap. Kind of like Miami. I would say they were a little bit further away than Miami, or a little bit closer than Miami. But
yeah,
in terms of, they've got to figure some things out. Obviously, one of the things that I did want to come back on and mention, one of the reasons that I did pick the Clippers to go to the finals is because I didn't think that LeBron was going to be right. I thought Luka would be able to help them get to that point, but because LeBron he does not seem to be right, seem to be healthy coming into the postseason like a lot of people said he was going to be. And I don't want to say we saw that in game 1 because, LeBron be playing them dumbass games sometimes. So we'll see what he does tonight. But if Austin Reeves can't be what Austin Reeves is, then, that changes a lot. And
he got no shot.
I know, not even no shot, but I'm not even just talking about this year. I'm saying if Austin Reeves, that changes everything with how the Lakers look and all the talk about the Dallas Mavericks and all this stuff. Because if it's just, LeBron is gone in a year or two. So if Austin Reeves, if he's not really taking the the jump like we kind of thought he would, or he has been this year, and he's really back to just the 16, 15 points, even though that's consistent. That the outlook for the Lakers look a lot different. So it's going to be interesting tonight to see. It's going to be interesting with the Rockets too when they play tomorrow, because these niggas get on the ugliest stretches of just no offense, and
that shit looks so bad, man. It looks so bad, and they had every opportunity to win that game against the Warriors, and they really should have. But it's just like Jalen Green.
He's been off for a little minute too.
Yeah, it's rough. Şengün played well, but when you don't have anybody stepping up with it, I know Fred made a couple threes down the stretch, but the game was out of hand by that point anyway. But it's like you got to, like, Fred, you got to be that guy. If you see your team, you're like, you see your team lacking in the area, you got to step up on offense, bro. You can't just be hype, because I understand that he took kind of a step back, I guess you could say, over the latter half of the season. But at the same time, you're the veteran. They brought you in for this particular time. So we'll see.
We shall see. And it's good to see Kawhi back, stay hooping too.
Now that series is living up to it. Yeah.
It's we'll see how it goes when it's obviously Clippers were able to get home court, but we'll see how it goes if they're able to sweep home court. If they're not, how many games are you going to get where James Harden is putting up 30? You're probably going to get the games from Kawhi. That nigga Kawhi nasty.
That was tough. Every shot he made, I was just like, tough. But it's not tough for him. But it just looks so tough. Like the fadeaways, I'm talking about, you can't play better defense than Eric Gordon, Peyton Watson were playing on him. Like, you really can't. They're in there. They're in the shit. But it's like, that's vintage Kawhi. It's good to see, though.
Kawhi was playing great defense as well in certain spots as well. So it's he changed the math on a lot of things, and once again, I think it's a testament to all of these times. Joel Embiid, pay attention, dog. Sit down, relax, get right. Don't let these people fuck with you and tell you to do something other than. Kawhi's been able to Kawhi and his camp been able to keep everything under wraps. He's taking his time with his return. Kevin Durant was also somebody that kind of took his time with his return. Maybe he's lost a step, a little bit, half a step, but he's still KD at the end of the day. And so, Joel, take your time. Take your time to come back. Like, don't let these people fool you and play you out your position. Take your time so that you can be doing the same thing. I mean, you're an MVP. You're a unique player that, aside from a couple guys, it's not too many people at your position that could, bang with you, consistently throughout the game. So, get right. Get right. Take your time, bro.
It's funny.
I feel like the thing about him, he don't have the cachet as the other two, though. I mean, when it's playoff time, even when he was healthy, he actually dominate.
Has he ever been healthy?
So you saying every playoff since when he started? When he went to the playoffs in 2017, every playoffs he's been injured.
Basically, he had that.
His looking like it.
Bruh, he done had. I mean, it's always something.
Well, that even goes more to my point. He ain't never proved shit in the playoffs, so we wouldn't. My thing is Kawhi. He has the cachet to let me sit the fuck out, because y'all know when I come back, as you see right now, shit different. Same thing with Durant.
It's funny how this ended up exactly being, what we talked about before the season, when Kawhi got pulled, which we don't know who pulled him, but it was a Team USA decision, his camp. There's been some back and forth on that, but they pulled him from competing in the Olympics. And Joel still played, and we were all on here like, maybe that's not wise. And now you see Kawhi is healthy enough to have this run at the end of the season, and Joel is rehabbing. It's just, like you said, Sha, he do got to just chill. Like, you get your body right. Don't. I understand, like, playing for USA. I won't even say his country, but playing for USA and doing all that. But
weird.
But at a certain point, you gotta focus on your body, focus on your team, your teammates that need you. Like, these guys are coming to Philly for you, and you can't even finish out the season. It's rough. It's tough.
And sit out the whole season. I mean, not the whole season, but I mean, if you need to sit out most of the season, do it and ramp up the last.
That's what Kawhi did this season.
They have also built out a team. I mean, and you got to credit to the Clippers that have continued to build out teams that has been able to sustain. I know a lot of people like to hate on Paul George, but like Paul George still got them boys to the conference finals. Like that happened.
Yeah.
And George put up games in the conference finals. That happened. Like it's I know he's had some playoff lowlights as well with them, but he's also had a lot of playoff highlights. So, you got to give credit to the Clippers for being able to still put a team together that has been able to sustain and be good even through Kawhi. So that's also giving them time. But so the 76ers, like, I understand that the team's been put around to kind of build for Embiid, but Paul George, he got to get right as well.
Yeah, for sure.
See, obviously he's doing his thing, but Paul George has got to get healthy and just sit out, bro. Like, get right, bro. So we can see, you can really show everybody how good you are, bro. Like, that was like my biggest takeaway. That's the thing I kept thinking about. I'm like, bro, like, Joel, you just gotta chill, dog. Like, all these niggas been pressing Kawhi, and Kawhi been sitting there quiet as hell. Now he getting to work. And if they win a championship this year, what you gonna say now? Jason Tatum.
But Kawhi is on a different level at the end of the day. At the end of the day, Kawhi is on a different echelon.
I mean, that's an MVP.
I hear you, but
that's an MVP.
That's
an MVP in this league.
Hey, man. How many finals?
That's an MVP in this league.
That's the finals MVP over there too.
Right.
I get that.
The man went from one of the greatest organizations ran San Antonio to go to another one and take them to the championship. He got the cachet to sit the fuck out if he want to. And that shit on a different level, bro.
He's an MVP. I don't
they
care.
They said he won for it. He won for that MVP.
He did, but he did. Nah, I'm just talking shit. But nah, sit out.
But I mean, you're right though. He could stand to sit out until All Star break or some shit like that. Really, or however long he needs.
Should be.
KC game about to kick off, so we gonna see what Ja gonna do. So, but with that being said, we can go ahead and switch and get into our quick mock draft and how we think the start of the draft is gonna start. Now that we did one a couple weeks ago, but now that we're closer and closer, got a little bit more information, got some stuff, shaking. People are back in town, back in their organizations. So it's about to get real interesting. We'll see if we get some trades before the draft. Jerry Jones obviously said that he's working on some trades.
A couple of substantial trades, he say.
It's probably cap, but we shall see. But getting into the top 10, who wants to give us a start? Go from there.
You want to go, Chris?
All right, go. Go ahead.
I'll go. Of course, you got some. Okay, well, of course, we got the news from Peter Schrager. New ESPN NFL analyst Peter Schrager. The talk that, of course, the second and third pick are being shopped, which is not surprising. It happens every single year. I don't think anything's going to come of that, so I don't have any trades in the top 3. I do have the Titans taking Cam Ward. It seems like that's pretty much a lock. We saw it last year around this time, really way before this time, but definitely a couple days before the draft. Like, it was Caleb Williams. We already knew it was. It's Cam Ward this year for the Titans. He's on. He's been saying it. I forgot what game was he playing. Fortnite? I don't know what the fuck he was playing.
Yeah, he was playing Fortnite.
When he's calling out, because don't nobody in the world say that Tony Pollard the best back in the league if you ain't his teammate, if you ain't his future teammate. So that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Cam Ward for being Tennessee Titan. I hope he has a good career there. We'll see. You never know. For the Browns, of course, there's been some back and forth lately about, they say, oh, they're still in on Carter. I really think it is going to be Travis Hunter there. I just think the versatility is just too hard to pass up on. And I do like it for the Giants, but I also really like it for the Browns. We'll see what the quarterback situation how that unfolds, who's going to be throwing in the ball. But like the pairing between him and Judy, I think it can work. I think as long as you still have, your guy underneath in Njoku. You still have pieces around, but I think it can work. Giants, I have Abdul Carter, so that's chalk from what I said a couple weeks ago. The first three. For the Patriots, now you've I got Will Campbell. Of course, we've seen some reports saying that they really love Will Campbell. We've seen reports from a lot of people, really, at this point. But I do think they end up taking that offensive lineman to kind of to help protect Drake back there. Jaguars, new information on that. I think it was Schefter today said that he would be surprised if Mason Graham is the pick. And then you, of course, got the reports that the Jaguars are possibly putting out intentional leaks. So you don't know. Maybe they're shopping the pick. Who knows? But for the Jaguars, I'm gonna go Tet with this one actually. And I think it's mainly to just shore up that wide receiver position for Trevor. Really put as much as you can to help him and see what you got in Trevor coming in as a new staff. And was kind of just go from there. So, and if Trevor's not the guy, at least you have two very young receivers that you can still, build an offense around if you can get the right quarterback in. But I think Trevor is going to be. I mean, they're pretty locked in with him anyway. But Raiders. A couple weeks ago, I had Will Johnson going there. It's seeming like he has some red flags popping up injury wise. He might drop. And I reflected that on this one. So I do have the Raiders taking Membu. I think I have them going offensive line. You can play him tackle, you play him guard. He has that versatility, he has that athleticism to kind of change over. For the Jets, I have them taking Tyler Warren. Not much more to say there, but I think he will be a good weapon for Justin Fields. For the Panthers, I have them still taking Jalen Walker. Of course, there's been some reports. Do they like Michael Williams more? If Mason Graham falls to them, are they in, do they want to take him? But I got them still taking Jalen Walker, and I got the Saints actually taking Mason Graham at 9 and not the quarterback. And then Bears end up getting their wish at Ashton Genty at 10. So that's kind of how I got the top 10 shaking out.
Okay. First few pretty much the same. Obviously, our first mock draft, I had it the other way around, but I mean, it's too much smoke now. I mean, it's probably gonna be Travis Hunter at 2. Obviously, Cam Ward at 1, but so I switched them around. I understand you. I mean, you can't really go past Abdul Carter. I just feel like they have a lot of bodies there. I understand he's going to be on a rookie deal or whatever, but they have a lot of bodies there at D lineman. So I kind of didn't think that they'll go that way, but yeah, I guess it's no issue. I had too many good edge rushers, but I mean,
I wish we had one.
So pick 4, I got Will Campbell. I mean, like Cass said, it's just a lot of they've been coming out basically saying, that's basically who they like or whatever. So I'm gonna go with that. I understand the hesitation with the Jaguars, but I'm gonna stick with Mason Graham. That was probably the consensus coming in. If I'm not mistaken, their GM mentioned that about shoring up their D lineman,
Trenches.
Yeah, trenches. So I'm gonna stick with that. Raiders. The first time around, I think I said Ashton Genty. I'm gonna stick with that one. Right now, I don't know what their quarterback situation is, and obviously it seems like they might not. They do have a quarterback, but what I'm saying, I don't know if that's what they want to ride with for the rest of the time being. But they're gonna go ahead and get Ashton Genty. The Jets. This was tough because I also believe they could go O-line cast, but I think, like I said before, I think they want to get them a weapon of choice. So I think they're gonna go get Tyler Warren. They're gonna go ahead and get that tight end. They say that's the best friend to a quarterback. Get Justin Fields some easy stuff when it comes to the passing game.
If he'll see him, if he'll see him down the seam, we'll see.
But so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with that. Pick 8. Jalen Walker. I mean, I had this the first time around, so I don't think Carolina's going to move off that. Pick 9. I thought the Shador thing that was coming up, but I don't know what's going on with him, man. Jarrett He's smoking. Who the fuck?
Everybody, it's weird with him too. Everybody's saying, "Oh, we don't know how he's gonna go." It's just like,
So
okay,
I'm gonna
great.
just have him pick up Will Johnson. That's a good corner in the draft. They could use another corner. Shore up that defense some more. They could go Sanders with all the issues that is coming out with Derek Carr or whatever the case may be. But I think they're just going to try to build around that for now and wait till next year to get the quarterback that they probably actually want. And then for Chicago, I went with Kelvin Banks, just to shore up some more of their offensive line. Give Caleb some more trust in his O line and trust in the protection's not going to just break down. And the simple fact that you don't have to go scramble immediately as soon as you get a damn ball. You got to spread the ball around, get it to your weapon. So that's how I got around it now.
I thought about corner for the Saints. I thought about Will Johnson in mind, and that'll bring Alontae Taylor back inside, where of course they want him to play. Just after losing Paulson Debo, but I ain't no going Mason Graham, but I would not be surprised at corner. I don't think they go Jade Barron. I think it'll be Will Johnson, or they don't do corner at all. But yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
So
Let's hear it.
starting off with Cam Ward, obviously going to. I don't have any trades either. I don't think any trades are going to happen. Top 10. I'm starting off with Cam Ward, going number 1 to the Tennessee Titans in division. So I don't hope he has a good career. I hope he has a good career elsewhere. Fail with the Titans and go be a Hall of Famer elsewhere. Nah, but I fought with Cam Ward heavy. I think he's going to be excellent for the Titans, and him and Calvin really, I think, off rip will probably have a good connection. So that'll be fun to watch. Number 2, I'm going Travis Hunter as well. Receiver Travis Hunter, with a little sprinkle on defense. But number 3, I'm going with with Abdul Carter, and I do think that the Giants will trade Kayvon Thibodeau.
They got
maybe
to.
at the
They got to
the bottom of the draft to a team, so they can possibly move up and grab a quarterback. I don't know. We'll see. Number 4 to the Patriots, I got Will Campbell. Getting that LSU. I mean, he was obviously a dog at LSU. Got to number 7 at LSU, and people try to doubt him, obviously because of his short arms. But I think he's going to be a solid tackle for the Patriots for the future. Number 5, I also got Mason Graham. Stick in there, and I think Mason Graham is going to go there. I think there's been a lot of smoke, all about nothing. A lot about nothing. So at number 6 with the Raiders, I think they go Mimbo as well. I also had Will Johnson. I even put a bet in on Will Johnson, so I'm hoping that still is the case here. But I'm going Mimbo. I think that they will. That's a position that they're actually targeting, and I think there's a lot of smoke about. I'll get into this in a little bit, but I think there's a lot of smoke, to the Raiders recently, and a lot of teams about Ashton Genty, and we'll see how that goes. But at the 7th spot to the New York Jets, I have Tet McMillan going, thinking they get another receiver to go with Garrett Wilson. It was between him and Tyler Warren for me there, but I went with Tet there.
That's crazy. I had it the other way around. I had Tet the first time, but I flipped it out.
At 8, I got Jalen Walker, obviously hometown kid. I think they pretty much, that has been penciled in for the longest, so I think that sticks there. Mm-hmm. At 9, the New Orleans Saints. I think they take Jackson Dart, quarterback from Ole Miss, in the first round. And I think they take him there.
Okay.
And then at number 10, I got the Bears going with Michael Williams from Georgia to shore up their defensive line. And I think that's when things start getting interesting at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think that's going to be the surprise of the draft. And then everybody's going to be, where's Shedeur going?
Jackson Dart at 9, top 10 pick. Hey, I mean, it could happen. We didn't say it like, it might happen.
I think they like
12.
him a lot, and I don't think they want to risk it. So he's similar to kind of how the Broncos were. People thought the Broncos might take Bo Nix late. Trade back and take him later in the draft, but they loved him.
Yeah,
I want to say that they on their board they had him QB3 behind Caleb and Jaden Daniels. I think he might have even been QB2. So they went ahead and grabbed him up. So I think that's how things are going to shake out, and that's going to be the first big surprise of the NFL draft.
Okay. Is he still going to the draft, or did he pull it out? Which one of them
pulled it out?
He pulled it out, but Milroe's still going. Okay.
Who pulled out?
Jackson Dart.
Ooh, them tweets gonna be fun off because if he get drafted and
if he get drafted before Shedeur, it's gonna be funny on Twitter. I'll tell you that much.
I think he's gonna get drafted before Shedeur because I think that I think Kellen Moore likes him, and I think Shedeur probably ends up in Pittsburgh. But
you seen that video he had today with Max Crosby,
where he was talking about the receivers or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, okay, y'all getting funny with this shit now.
He tried to copy Cam Ward.
Exactly.
You gotta be the original. You gotta be the OG, bro.
Like, and he might fall to 21, but I
don't think he's falling to 21 because it's a team that's gonna trade back in.
But that's the thing about it. Like, if you're Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh not trading up to get him. They don't. I just don't see them doing it. I really doubt they do it. And if they trade us, it's gonna take some capital, and they don't have a second round pick this year. We'll see. So it's not a lot that you go at 21. It's not a lot that you stay on the board that long to go to the Pittsburgh. What I'm getting at. So yeah, it might be a team that trade back in. You can trade with us, but trade the 15, pick them up. But
we shall see.
Yeah.
So before we sign off, who you guys got your teams taking in the first round or in any round? Who's a player you're confident that will be an Eagle or a Falcon? That's an interesting one. Who's a player that you're confident will be an Eagle or a Falcon by the end of the weekend?
Any round.
That's tough.
I'm gonna go 2. This how I want the first 2 picks to shake out. I would like Mike Green to be there at 15. I think if he's there at 15, I think we end up taking him. And then the second round, if he's there, I would love for that to be Maxwell Harrison. I can tell you so. I would love it for it to be pass rusher and cornerback in the first 2 rounds. As some people have been saying for the Falcons, specifically to draft another defensive tackle. I think you're keeping David Onyemata to kind of see how the draft. So far, you're keeping them to see how the draft kind of shakes out. Then you'll kind of address it post June if you do end up drafting a D tackle, but you also have 2 young D tackles that you drafted last year and didn't play. So I think you want to clear that room so they can get you can see what you have in them. So I don't think they go D tackle early in this draft. I really do think they go corner and pass rusher. I think those are the 2 that I would like. If they draft those 2 in the first 2 rounds, I'm smiling. I'm chilling the rest of the week. So.
Say you, Chris.
I think we're gonna go defense. I want to say defensive heavy, but somebody I think we can possibly get is Walter Nolan. Whether we trade up to try to get him, I'm not sure if between the teens and the early 20s he might go, so I don't know how that will work out, but that's somebody that I would love for us to go get, and I think that's somebody that is always on Howie radar as far as trench work go, yeah, and red flags. But yeah, and then
what the Knicks say?
It's just a throw in. I mean, I don't know. It'd be up and down with that as far as how long he's gonna stay. But if he's there at 32,
you said Starks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If he's there at 32,
What about the Colts? What about your Colts?
What did Nick say? How we only take the names.
The consensus picks.
He only take the names. So I'm fairly confident that Riley Leonard will be an Indianapolis quarterback by the end of the weekend.
Really?
I will say
5th round, 4th round.
Nah, 4th round, definitely not 4th. Let's say
Riley Leonard. Okay.
I will go with. I'm gonna say Jihad Campbell will be the Colts' first round draft pick.
Of course, some new stuff will come about him, about how injured he is, and of course, he had the video. They had the information today saying that he should be ready by training camp. So it might not impact his draft stock too much. Hopefully, it doesn't. But I like Jihad, man.
Okay. I like it. We'll see. Even though it's gonna be a tight end.
It's definitely gonna be a tight end.
We shall see. We shall see.
It's honestly wild because I have been looking at a lot of mock drafts over this past couple of weeks, and it's wild how like laser focused that pick is. Pick number 14 is just tight end, and because if we got Tyler Warren coming out the board in the first 10, fuck it, we're gonna put Colson Loveland right there. It's just like it's interesting to see.
I would bet. I honestly think that D lineman is more likely than tight end. So Mike Green, Mykal Williams, Shamar Stewart. I think people are pegging tight end, but there's a lot of tight end options that that aren't just Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. We'll see. We shall see. It'll be interesting. But if there's any tight end, then Colston Loveland. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see. But with that being said, we will catch y'all next week with all the fun from the draft night and seeing where everybody lands, seeing what surprises there are. We'll see you then.
Yes, sir.